So for week 9, the video prompt is find a federal agency rule that you disagree with and talk about why you disagree with it and what you would do to change it. Now, this rule, I guess, is kind of blanketed under 3 agencies. It's the fact that animal testing is legal. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought it was already illegal, but that in the nation, but I think that's just because animal tested products are banned in New York State where I've lived my whole life. So it's just not something that I've really been aware of as much, I guess. But when I was looking up federal rules to talk about, I really do care deeply about animal testing because I think it's really immoral and abusive, especially to animals that can't consent to this harmful testing and the side effects that come along with it. So animal testing is legal under a federal law called the Animal Welfare Act. This law sets basic standards for how animals are treated in research, but it still allows for researchers and companies to test products, drugs, chemicals on animals. Several federal agencies help to enforce and carry out this rule. The USDA, so the United States Department of Agriculture, enforces the AWA by inspecting labs. They can shut down these facilities if they don't pass codes and inspections. The Food and Drug Administration requires animal testing for many drugs and products before they can be tested on humans. The EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, also uses animal testing to evaluate chemicals, pesticides, and other toxins. Even though animal testing is federally legal, there are 12 states, including New York, as I've mentioned previously, that do ban animal tested products. But that still leaves 38 states that allow them. So like I've mentioned previously, this rule allows for companies and scientists to test their products on another living being before it gets used by humans or tested on humans. And I think it's just wrong and immoral in the way that we're putting ourselves as humans above other life and other animals who aren't consenting to possible, the side effects and the pain of these chemicals and medications and toxins. And I've mentioned, the reasons why I disagree, but to maybe dive a little bit deeper into it, I feel like just because something's legal, it doesn't always mean it's ethical. And I think this is kind of one of those distinctions that really matters. Like I've said before, animals can't give consent to be tested on. They don't have the consciousness, they don't have the ability to determine what they want. They can't even tell you. I believe it's abusive. Even with regulations in place, animals still experience stress, injury, and death during these experiments. So instead of animal testing, I believe scientists and companies should be required to use modern alternatives whenever it's possible, at least. For example, our technology has grown so much these days. Computer modeling can simulate how drugs and chemicals can affect the human body. This also can go with certain scans and animations in the medical field. I mean, I'm not super well versed in the medical field, but I'm sure that this is something that AI could also help with eventually. Scientists can use human volunteers in very small, safe amounts, called microdosing, to study the effects directly on people. In this case, you do have consent from someone who does have time to consider, the effects of these things. I don't think we should test toxins and chemicals on humans, but certain beauty products, certain, drugs, if they're microdosing, I think in that case we're at least allowing for consent, making it a little more ethical. Another one is bioprinting. I did some just a tiny bit of research just to see what some other options are, and scientists can create a human-like tissue to test products. It's not the exact same thing, but again, neither is a rat. Like, and in that case, you're not harming an animal. You know, um it might take a few more extra steps to change this rule and make it more ethical, but at the same time, it's going to be like protecting animals from being abused, experiencing this pain, stress, and injury. So, all in all, animal testing might be legal under like a few different agencies, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily moral, like our best, course of action when it comes to testing these products. As technology improves, we definitely see more opportunities to be able to shy away from animal testing. Maybe more states could come together and ban those products and put more pressure to um, for companies and these researchers to find ulterior methods and protect some of the animals that necessarily don't really have a choice.